Hello everyone and welcome to the March edition of BVP Middle School News. I'm Gustavo Bravo and here with me today is
Charlotte Gagan,
Marissa Kanakri,
and Ellie Guerin.
We have an episode packed with plenty of updates on BVP events and announcements on approaching activities. At the end of today's program, we also have an extra special guest. Stay tuned because you really want to see who BVP will be bringing onto your computer screen today. But first, to sports.
BVP's basketball season came to a close during last week's Small Schools Tournament. As the buzzer sounded on the successful year, both boys and girls finished with winning records. Our girls also took third place honors at the Small Schools Tournament. Way to go, ladies! Next on BVP's sports schedule is baseball. Coach Laskowski and Coach Tamposi will be holding tryouts later this month for those who are interested in joining our BVP Sluggers and knocking a few out of the park. This year's baseball team is sure to be a hit.
Last week's Fun Brewery activity saw a tremendous amount of scholar engagement in some of BVP's quirky celebrations. From silly accessories to mustaches, notes of need to Twin Day, BVP really showed that we have a good time while still working crazy hard to succeed on our exams. To celebrate the conclusion of Fun Brewery and an exhausting exam schedule, BVPers enjoyed an exciting round of Minute to Win It competitions last Friday. Although Fun Brewery is now over, BVP is definitely ready to march into spring and the fun will never stop.
Beginning this week, BVP is participating in the Pennies for Patients fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. This is a 3-week fundraising effort to help fight cancer by donating to this important organization. Participation is simple. Parents and scholars can contribute to the Pennies for Patients fundraiser by collecting your loose change and bringing it into BVP. And you don't need to feel limited to pennies. We also accept nickels, dimes, quarters, and $100 bills. Whatever you happen to have laying around, stuffed behind mattress cushions, or sitting in a bank vault getting dusty works for us. Send in whatever you can find because at BVP we can turn pocket change into real change.
And now, for this month's interview, we'd like to invite a very special guest, Mayor Daniel McKee of Cumberland. Mayor McKee, we'd like to begin by thanking you, both for the time that you've taken to join us for today's interview and also for all the hard work that you have put in over the years. It's because of the hard work and advocacy of you and others like you that we have such a wonderful school. For scholars who are interested in going into politics,
Yes.
Could you please tell us a little bit about what it's like to run for office and to serve as a mayor?
Is anybody interested in going to politics here? All right, very good. I think that politics is, especially government, is one of the most important places where you can find entrepreneurship. So real new ideas. So young people who have new ideas, it's a really good place to enter in. So I think that being on a leadership council here, reading some material about some maybe the three people who you might admire, or just search out some good leaders that you can read about at this point in time is really a good idea. And then anywhere where you can get involved in leadership training or leadership, anywhere where you see leadership, go and read on it or sit in on those meetings. I think that that's a good start. Young people can have a voice today if you kind of see a spot where you think there's something that you want to say, and if you prepare yourself for that moment, then I think that you could have a big influence right now.
Blacksburg Valley Prep is a mayoral academy. As one of the mayors of our sending districts, can you briefly explain your role in the Mayoral Academy for the scholars of BVP?
I can. That's a good. I'm glad you asked that question, because I continually remind people that it's a Blackstone Valley Prep Mayoral Academy, and the mayors in the communities that Central Falls, Pawtucket, right, Lincoln, and then Cumberland. So the mayors in those communities, or the town administrator Alman in your community, or Mayor Diosa, Mayor Grebian in Pawtucket, Mayor Diosa in Central Falls, and then I'm the mayor of Cumberland. So the Mayoral Academy is a mayor-governed public school. So I serve as the chair of the school board. So I chair the school board, and Mayor Diosa and Mayor Town Administrator Alman are members of that school board. That, what's called the governance, or how you govern any institution, right, in terms of the community. So we have the authority to manage your school through that school board, and we have the authority through the General Assembly, through legislation we passed at the General Assembly. So I believe that mayors really need to get involved in public education, because I think that not only is it good for the young people that are in the schools, but I think it's good for the communities that they live in. So every time you do get #1 in the math in the state of Rhode Island, you just made every community that is represented in the schools stronger. Any follow-up at all on that, or did I do okay? Okay. We're doing great.
Many scholars are interested in how they can give back to their communities. For example, this month we are involved in the Pennies for Patients fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. What other recommendations do you have for scholars who would like to become more involved in community service?
Well, I probably have a number of them, but I think that that's a good start. I'm involved with the Boys and Girls Club in Cumberland and Lincoln, and I think those organizations like that, to be involved in organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, in organizations and a number of youth organizations, is a good start to share your leadership skills in that place, because there'll be a number of young people that are in those schools, a number of people who'll be younger than you are, some people who might be older than you are, but I think that that's the first place that I would look to influence, would be in your own age group, and create leadership and motivate young people to want to do exactly what you just asked, is to get involved in the community. We have a cancer walk at Tucker Field in Cumberland every year. If the organizer, or you sort out who was doing that, and you said, geez, I'd like to get involved in that, and I've got a number of young people who would like to get involved in that, that would be leadership, and then you'd be helping help out there. So I would seek out great organizations that are helping, that kind of are aligned with some of your thinking. I would also look at getting involved in young community groups where you could provide your leadership skills and help those young people that are your peers to kind of see things that they should really be contributing. And then I would be looking at ways that you could create your own idea of how you could help your community.
We have one final question for you today, and this one is about basketball.
Basketball, yes.
As you may already know, our BVP girls basketball team had an outstanding season this year, finishing 11-2 and placing 3rd in the small school tournament. Our boys did well, but they're not just quite as good as us girls. As a fan of basketball, what advice can you give to the boys team for next year?
Well, they probably should take some lessons from the girls initially. That would be a good idea. But let me just tell you a quick story about how basketball was instrumental in creating this school first. All right. So I coached a very a boys team that happened to be that did very well, won a couple state championships, went and played national tournaments in what they call AAU basketball. I don't know if anybody's involved in any AAU athletic programs, but it's a good high level of basketball. But on that team, we went all around the East Coast, and went to Detroit, and we went to down at UNC, University of North Carolina, and it was a very diverse group of kids that I coached. I kind of referred to it as like a United Nations on wheels. And so when it came time to talk about education with them, a number of them were ready to go to college, but a number of them weren't. And so when I got to be mayor, I said, well, I loved having all those young people together, but I want to create a vehicle that would help them with their education. So basketball and team sports are really, I really think that they teach a lot. I think that they're really good. So now if the young ladies here are doing well, I'd like to see them do better, but if the guys are having a little, getting a little challenge in some of that stuff, I think that, again, preparation is really important, and I would practice. And I would also advise them to do the same thing. Go seek out people that are really good at what that is. So if the girls are doing a little better than the guys, we gotta go to the girls and talk to them a little bit about it, but we all can get better. We all can get better.
All right, thank you so much, Mayor, for being here today. As a small token of our appreciation, we'd like to give you the very first BVP 5K giveaway of the season.
Nice. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for watching this edition of BVP Middle School News. I'm Gustavo Bravo, and with me is...
Shyla Gagan.
Marissa Canackery.
And Ellie Garin.
Stay classy, BVP.